Hey everyone, welcome to Neil Talks. My name's Neil, and it's time to talk House of the Dragon. It's Sunday evening, new episode's out. I'm eager to jump into this, but it's also the first Sunday of football season. I've just come from the bar. My voice is hoarse. I'm a little sweaty. I've got a couple of beers in me. I'm not at my best, but I'm so psyched to jump into this episode. It's going to be a fun little experiment, let's put it that way. This episode is called King of the Narrow Sea, which is where the stepstones are, and I feel like that means we can expect that maybe Daemon's declaring himself king of this region, either him or Corlys, but it feels more like that's a Daemon thing to do. It's hard to tell because this show so far has had a significant time jump between every episode, so I don't know whether we're picking up right where we left off from last episode, or whether we're going to be a couple of years deeper already. I know that the book, Fire and Blood, takes place over something like 30 years, so we've got a lot of story to tell, not just this season, but in coming seasons. So I'm very curious to see where we are this episode. How much older is Aegon? Is Rhaenyra still the heir? Or where do we stand? What sort of pressures is the king feeling? Is Viserys holding true to his word to his daughter, or has he folded? Yeah, there's just a lot of questions here. What's Rhaenyra's situation with finding a husband? We know members of the Kingsguard are supposed to be celibate, so you would think that Sir Criston Cole is off the table, but who knows? What are Rhaenyra's other options other than, a Lannister? Because we've got these time jumps, yeah, it's hard to predict what's coming next, but I'm super curious. I'm loving what we've set up so far in this world. I'm really curious to see where we go from here and what the spark is that takes all this tension and turns it into actual war. What takes us from Cold War to Hot War? What takes us from Cold War to Civil War? I figured we have to end up there eventually, but what's the spark? What's the trigger? What happens to push us over that edge? Anyway, let's jump into it, guys. This is episode 4, The King of the Narrow Sea. We saw that in the, that's part of the opening credits. Okay. Who's this? Is he a Tully? Who is he?
When she honored my father and I...
And tell me, Lord Dondarrion.
Oh.
Did you think my great-grandmother as beautiful as they say?
This was half a century ago, Princess.
Yes, it was. The man is older than my father. It's unseemly for him to put himself forward as a contender for my hand.
Oh, that's what we're doing.
Next.
Contenders for the hand of the princess.
And now a child.
This is Lucas Blackwood, the grandsire of my grandsire, aided the dragon in his war of conquest.
Aye, the Blackwoods truly turned the tide on that one.
If chosen as your match, princess, your day shall be easy and night safe, under my protection.
Protection? The princess has a dragon, you dumb cunt.
Who's this guy? Who's this?
Craven.
We're leaving.
Send word to the harbour and have Captain Oswin ready the ship.
Princess will join Bitterbridge in 3 days' time.
I would happily.
Did we just kill the kid? Oh!
Don't look, Princess.
Alright, we just killed Baratheon. Good. He deserved to die, that asshole. Good for the little kid, though.
We should make landfall inside the hour, Princess.
So she's traveling looking for a...
Take cover!
That's Caraxes, right? You're not supposed to be home. Daemon has returned. Wearing a crown.
Add it to the chair.
It's the crab feeder's hammer.
Do you also call yourself king?
Once we smash the Triarchy, they name me King of the Narrow Sea. But I know that there is only one true king, Your Grace.
Oh, okay. He's still taking the knee. He's either playing this very smart or he actually means it.
My crown and the stepstones are yours.
I like this. This is not what I was expecting. Hug your brother. There we go. Do we trust him? Those last two fingers on his left hand look very empty.
Congratulations on your victory.
Oh. Well, Dad's turning from her because she's not finding a husband.
It is rare for girls in this realm to get a choice between two suitors, no less two score of them.
How romantic it must be to get imprisoned in a castle and made to squeeze out heirs.
That's what she wanted.
All anyone sees when they look at me now is the Queen.
She's had her second, so a little more time has passed at least.
My father seems content to sell me off to whichever lord has the biggest castle.
There are worse things to be sold for. Tinagson toilet gausoga morgan costas.
Balusut, idena de mariosut de la sagan costas. Abrasut vejitsus. Abrasiris o his biare istas. Ziri lede todor.
No. No, que se cranion tenko.
Ouch.
Perhaps we can sell.
Well, she's got a seat at the table.
I fear Lord Corliss's pride is the least of our worries.
Lord Corliss is said to have engaged in negotiations with the Sea Lord of Bravos. He plans to wed his daughter Lena to the Sea Lord's son.
With the Triarch, is the Bravos part of the Triarchy or is it still independent? Is the Triarchy just the slave cities of the south of Essos?
We would have to seek our own marriage pact.
You're not going to be able to stay in solitude, are you, Rhaenyra? What's this? Is she going to go undercover and just roam the city? What do we got here? What's it say? It's a map? Like a floor plan of the room? Oh, secret exit. So who left her that? She just wants to be free to do what she wants. I get it, but this is like the Prince and the Pauper almost. Well, half of that anyway. Look at the size of that thing. So cool. Ah. So there. Now what are we doing?
Where are we going?
Okay. Welcome to the jungle. We got funny games. Yeah, she's not used to being touched. This is the circus district. How many fingers do we have left?
You have a far kinder touch than they do.
Thank you, husband.
Our good king names his daughter, a girl, his heir, loved by all of her people. But would she make a powerful queen? Or would she be feeble? For Aegon the Babe, he has two things Rhaenyra cannot. A conqueror's name.
And a cock.
And a cock.
Their wants are of no consequence.
They're of great consequence if you expect to rule them one day.
Yeah.
Who knows when our next taste freedom?
Is there any chance those two will end up married? They actually seem to like each other.
The king has requested your presence.
Okay. That's how that goes, huh? Yeah. Produce me children, please. Is the second one another boy, or do we have a boy and a girl at this point? Oh, look at all his sores, man. He's just not healing. Is there such a thing as a poor Targaryen? I kind of feel like no. So she'd be identifiable, wouldn't she? Yeah, I think they know who she is. I'm sure they recognize Damon.
Fucking is a pleasure, you see. For the woman as it is the man.
Huh. Damon and Rhaenyra. Do we know if she's a virgin? Do we know if she's been with anyone? Oh. Is he messing with her a little?
Damon?
Yeah, he's messing with her. Getting her to show weakness. Oh, who's following her? Who's that kid?
My helmet.
Oh. Oh, yeah. She's gonna have her way with him now. Well, we knew that was gonna happen sooner or later. But what's he gonna do about it?
Stop.
I'm sure he's thought about it, but he's also got this vow. Yeah, but if there's anything we discovered in Game of Thrones, it's that vows put people into impossible situations. Not a quick adventure here, is it? What happens if she gets pregnant? I guess the Maesters have some solutions for that.
A messenger brings word from the White Worm.
The White Worm? Oh, it's this kid. Oh. Does Otto have little birds?
Am I your prisoner?
That was once yours.
Did she leave him?
I'm your protector. Lucky for you.
You never were one to stay idle.
Is that the same little kid? I think it
Lessons
is.
are not welcomed, but suffered.
Did she just sell him out to Otto?
You can pay for the room on your way out.
I have discomforting news. I thought it best shared discreetly before the council convenes. It is no easy thing to tell a father of his daughter's exploits. She was carrying on with her uncle. They were engaged in behaviors unbecoming of a maiden.
Now speak it plainly.
Is he actually gonna lie?
Damon and Rhaenyra were seen together.
He doesn't actually want to lie. But...
Coupling.
Okay, no, he's...
You have been lied to. You're so sick with ambition that you would have my daughter stalked, spied upon, awaiting your best chance to destroy her reputation. Do you wish to have your blood on the Iron Throne so badly that you are willing to destroy mine own?
Did Damon just take her there to discredit her? I kind of think he may have.
My father has made some worrying allegations about you.
Was I drank wine, left the castle after dark?
That you fucked Damon in a pleasure house.
This is a vile accusation.
Is it?
You cannot believe such gossip.
My father is no gossip.
Well, certainly he's been misled. He could not have witnessed such a thing.
Why not?
Because it did not happen.
He reported it to the king.
It's weird that no one's going to Damon saying what he did was terrible.
Taverns.
Only her.
I was only a spectator. I didn't do anything. Damon never touched me. I swear this to you, upon the memory of my mother.
She's lying, but she didn't fuck him either.
I regret
it. Damon, on the other hand, doesn't matter what he does. Fuck around. Have a couple whores on the side.
The king demands an audience, my friend.
Or not. Just staying on the flat on the ground. Too hard to sit up.
My daughter. You defiled her. Your niece.
Here is a woman grown. Better her first experience be with me than some whore.
He's not saying I didn't.
You have ruined her. I should disinherit her. As I already did you. Be done with it.
Wed her to me.
You are a plague. Sent to destroy me.
Give me Rhaenyra to take to wife. And we will return the House of the Dragon to its proper glory.
Go back to the Vale, Damon. To your lawful wife. You believe he lied?
How often does he speak the pure truth?
Whatever transpired, Rhaenyra is not innocent.
Only because Daemon tried to corrupt her. She swore to me that she remains a maiden. And I believe her.
Not true, but nothing to do with Daemon. It's so silly that this matters so much, but I guess that's what it used to be like. It's so stupid, though. It really does just add to the whole women as property thing, though, doesn't it? That's why no commoner even entertains the idea of her being a worthy queen. Oh, cat's paws in the fire. That's disturbing. To what end?
That dagger once belonged to Aegon the Conqueror. The last of the Valyrian pyromancers hid his song in the steel.
From my blood come the prince that was promised, and his will be the song of ice and fire.
Oh. That's Jon Snow.
The burden of this knowledge. It is larger than the throne. It is larger than you and your desires.
You've yet to ask me for the truth of what happened.
The truth does not matter, Rhaenyra. Only perception.
So you'll strip me of my titles and name Aegon in my stead.
I would. But it is mine to hold the realm together. You will wed Selena Velaryon, and you will do so without protest.
So I can be a remedy for your political headaches.
You are my political headache.
At least he's grown up from the first episode.
The House of the Dragon will stand as one for a further generation.
And what will you do about the vulture who perches upon your throne?
Otto Hightower has served 2 kings loyally.
He wants Aegon to be named heir. And he will stop at nothing to see it done, including spying on me to bring about my ruin. The almost trusted advisor, so self-interested.
Every man on my small council and all councils
They're
past
all
has been
self-interested.
I will do my duty as heir and with Sir Laenor. But you must first do yours as king.
Oh, is he gonna drop Otto as his hand? Make an enemy of him? Who becomes his hand?
Grace.
Daemon?
My father was a hale and healthy warrior and dragon rider.
Jaehaerys named a great royal hunt to celebrate him being named the Hand of the King.
5 days later, my father lay dead. Heir to the Iron Throne. Dead of a burst belly.
It was a grim day. I
Was
recall
Otto
it all too
responsible?
well.
It was a good day for you. How long did it take you to choose yourself over your king? But Alicent, she was a calculated distraction.
The Queen loves you. As I know you love her.
Your interests no longer align with those of the realm.
Wow. I didn't think
The crown and
Jaehaerys...
the realm. Both owe you a debt that can
Can
never
do
be
this.
repaid.
Who's going to be the hand? Daemon or Rhaenyra? What's this? Can't imagine it would be Daemon. Maybe is Rhaenyra going to be the hand? Could that be?
I took great care in its preparation.
Morning after pill, basically?
I'm sorry, what is that?
It will rid you of any unwanted consequences.
Wow. 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 What an interesting episode, because it's basically this whole episode was about the politics of sex, wasn't it? How those basic instincts can muddy the plans and ambitions of people. It's so hard to read some of this stuff, and I think it's intentionally like that. What are Daemon's intentions with Rhaenyra? You know, did he want Rhaenyra to be spied? Did he want her reputation to be destroyed, or was he literally just trying to bang his niece? Or does he actually want to wed her? Does he view that as his path to the throne? So interesting, and I mean, like, you know, it was spelled out, but when Rhaenyra and Viserys were talking, if she was a man, she could work her way up and down the street of Silk, banging as many women as he wanted, bearing bastards, none of it would matter. But because she's a woman, she has to be unsullied, she has to be virtuous, she has to be pure when she marries, and it's such a blatant double standard, and yet it's indicative of the even though this is fictional, of the time, of the culture. At its root, it's the same reason that when we're watching this play down in the streets that night, who would want Rhaenyra to be the queen, and all the public just boos and jeers because they don't want a weak ruler. They don't think a woman can do the job because there's this gender disparity. And then there's this really intimate scene between Rhaenyra and Sir Criston, but even then there's this really interesting power play where, you know, you have to, like, we've seen enough of those two together that they've certainly got a friendship and a kinship, and because they're both hot, we assume that they're both attracted to each other. So certainly you could imagine that Criston's thought of it, but you also know that the Kingsguard take a vow of celibacy. They can't wed. They can't F around. They're focused purely on protecting the king and his family. Now, of course, we know that doesn't mean they actually act that way, but they do take the vow. They certainly can't wed, but that doesn't mean they can't screw around. But so we assume Criston is a willing participant with Rhaenyra, and it certainly looks like he is. But there's this power dynamic. Like, you can't turn your queen down or your princess down either, can you? Whether he wanted to or not, she was going to get what she wanted. In a lot of ways, this was a very quiet episode. I like that Alicent and Rhaenyra are talking again, reforging their friendship. So much of Rhaenyra's views are based on what happened to her mother, that her mother was just constantly pregnant, or trying to get pregnant, trying to produce an heir for the king, constantly failing, and she ultimately died in that cause. And so she doesn't want the same thing for herself. And yet, that's exactly what Alicent is now doing. That's Alicent's new role. And Alicent, I think, is coming to that realization. I don't think she hates being the queen. And maybe she never really dreamed of being the queen until it all happened. But she's realizing that it's isolating, and her only real purpose is producing an heir. I like the moments where she is Viserys' only counsel. She's offering him good advice. You know, they seem to have a respectful relationship, but she sleeps in her own chambers, and whenever the king wants her, just summons her, and it's her duty to come to his bed. Again, really interesting power dynamics. And so it sounds like Rhaenyra has accepted that she will do her duty and take the Valerian boy to be her husband. We saw him in the battle for the Stepstones. He's certainly grown up in the intermittent 4 years since the first episode, where he looked like he was like a 12-year-old. So he's going to be younger than her, but not drastically so. They've got a new actor playing him. He's a dragon rider. It'll be interesting to see their relationship, because we know the families are feuding. We know Viserys and Corlys don't have a good relationship. That's certainly a very strained relationship, maybe a fractured one already. Will the marital bond between their children be enough to reunite those families? Politically it will, but will it do more than that and sort of provide this united Targaryen bloodline that can rule for generations to come? Very interesting stuff. But the big revelation at the end of the episode, which I didn't anticipate coming, simply because, you know, I think everyone, our impressions of Viserys up to now, and rightfully so, I would say, are that he may be a good father, he may be a good man, but he's not necessarily a good king. He's too easily manipulated. He's not dumb, but he's not as forthright as perhaps he needs to be. You know, we felt like Otto was manipulating things behind the scenes, and Viserys has seemingly seen through all of that clear as day and taken Otto's title from him. Otto is no longer the Hand because his ambitions no longer align with those of the crown. So who will the new Hand be? It could be Daemon. It could be Rhaenyra, although I can't imagine a young female Hand would be widely accepted, which isn't to say it wouldn't happen. It seems like Daemon is still committed to molding Rhaenyra into his heir and the future queen. It could be someone else already on the council. Perhaps with Rhaenyra's marriage, Corlys may rejoin the small council. Maybe he would become Hand. That's an option. But yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. A quieter episode as far as things happening, and yet a really interesting expose of, like I said, the politics of sex in this environment, this era. And as much as this is a fictitious world set in a fictitious time, I don't think this is too far off from how a lot of this stuff played out during medieval times. Anyway, what a cool episode. Thank you guys so much for spending a little bit of time with me here today on Neil Talks. I hope my voice hasn't been too raspy. I'm feeling pretty good about it, but I know I don't sound my normal self. Nevertheless, thank you for enduring, and I can't wait till next week. So until then, everybody, take care, stay healthy. We'll see you soon. Cheers.